Let's talk about ovarian cancer on the Teal Couch today. I'm Golda Arthur. I'm the host and creator of the Overlooked podcast, a women's health show. I'm here with Pamela Esposito Amory, the CEO and co-founder of Tell Every Amazing Lady. We're at the T.E.A.L Community Center in Brooklyn, New York, on this blinged out, fabulous teal couch. And I'm super excited to get into the conversation about women's health with you today. And I want to start here to talk about risk factors and family history. That's super important to know your family history in this case, isn't it?
Yeah, so because ovarian cancer doesn't have a screening test, it's really important to know if there is a particular risk for an individual or a family. So a lot of times it could be important if someone has breast cancer in their family and colon cancer in their family, of course, ovarian cancer, sometimes prostate and endometrial as well. Those could actually lead to indications that they might have a genetic mutation within the family, and we highly recommend that they see a genetic counselor. They can build a family tree and consider if genetic testing is important. And one of the things that we've come up with over the years, it even happened in my family, sometimes people don't know even how to build their family tree. What if someone was adopted, or what if, within the family, a lot of times they said someone had the C word or it was a woman's cancer, and we don't really know what the history was. So that's another reason why genetic testing could be really important for an individual.
And let me ask about genetic testing. It might sound intimidating to some people, but actually it's a fairly straightforward thing that you do where you get yourself tested, your DNA tested, and then you talk to a counselor, right?
We're not talking about some of those websites that can offer family history information, but we really want someone to sit down with a professional genetic counselor where they can really talk about health assessments and health risks. So, it's fairly easy. You can go to your primary care doctor, a gynecologist, and they will point you in the right direction. And if actually someone needs some further help with that, a foundation like us, Tell Every Amazing Lady, can also help figure out where someone can go to get testing done. But it's become much more easier these days.
Yeah, thankfully so. So let's talk about the signs and symptoms. So let's say we are really invested in our own health. We want to be able to take care of ourselves. We want to be able to prevent this. What should we be looking out for in our own bodies in terms of the signs and symptoms?
Ovarian cancer is one of those things where, because there's no screening test, it's really difficult to detect even for the doctors. And the symptoms can be really vague. They could, when they become a problem or something someone should really go to the doctor about, is especially if they last for more than 2 weeks. The symptoms could be bloating. Who doesn't get bloated once in a while? We're not talking about when, you might eat a plate of nachos and then get bloated. We're talking about 2 weeks or more, and that bloating's just not going away. It's kind of odd and not normal for you. The same with pelvic pain, abdominal pain, frequent urination, weight loss, weight gain. Those are pretty much the common ones, and for ovarian cancer. But they're also very vague. Even back pain is on the list for symptoms too. So it's highly encouraged to see a doctor and talk about it. And if you're not happy with the answer, then absolutely seek a second opinion if that pain or that symptom is not going away, especially because the doctors don't have the proper tools to detect it. And it's usually caught in a late stage. We encourage someone to get a second opinion.
And that is so important, because I think our ability to be advocates for our own health is really the most important thing here, right? You know your own body best. You're paying attention to what's going on. You're understanding what's normal for me, what's not normal for me. And so going into a doctor's office or a second opinion doctor's office, you're really driving your own health in that way. That's a really big step for women, right? So there is a blood test that we have. It's called a CA-125, but it's not a perfect indicator of anything. Say a little bit more about that.
I'm not a doctor and I can't give medical advice, but we're just having a chat here at our foundation. But really, CA-125 is a marker that can also pick up other things, like maybe if someone has endometriosis or some other inflammation. So it is not a perfect test. What's really beautiful about it is it could be something that maybe raises a red flag that something's going on, but it is not something that is 100% accurate or a proper diagnostic tool. So the advice given is, especially if you have a family history and maybe something that creates high risk or symptoms, CA-125 is something you should ask your doctor for anyway. A pelvic sonogram is something that can also be requested by a doctor, and a rectal pelvic exam. Those 3 tests combined are still really important to talk to your doctors about, and especially when you go for your annual OBGYN exam, it's something simple to just say, hey, can you add those 3 tests for my annual, because they are not standard of care and important to try to catch things.
And a really good way to think about this is the color teal, right? Which obviously is like all over this fabulous space here. The color teal should be like a trigger to remember to be taking care of your gynecological health.
Yes, I always tell everyone, if you see me wearing the teal outfits, or you see a teal sign or a teal pillow, whatever have you, maybe that could be an indication to make your doctor appointment and make your annual exam, not only your gynecologist, but your primary care and even other specialists. Your colonoscopy exam, your mammogram. We just have to remember to fit that into all of our busy schedules.
Yeah. Well, this has been really great to go over some of these signs and symptoms and risk factors and family history with you. I hope everybody who is watching this has also learned something about how to advocate for their health, how to be watchful for the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. Thank you so much, Pamela.
Thank you. Tell every amazing lady.